Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure that you subscribe. This class is themed around postures that we like to use our hands to help us get further into them. But what happens whenever we rely on our hands to pull ourselves deeper is that we miss out on building the strength in that range of motion. So, without further ado, we'll get started. Just in a seated position, crossed legs or whatever seated position feels good for you. Go ahead and sit tall, take a few deep breaths, and begin to center yourself in, ready for this fun flow. On your next inhale, reach your arms up overhead and bring the palms together. As you exhale, press the hands into each other as you bring them down to heart center. Inhale, lengthen your spine tall. And then as you exhale, bring your chest around towards your right knee. We'll take 3 more breaths here, lengthening as you inhale, and then twisting as you exhale. But keep your arms where they are. Just use your strength to twist you deeper and deeper. Just see how far you can get using your own strength. And perhaps you're feeling now your transverse abdominis muscles really working to get you deeper here instead of relying on your arms. 1 more inhale. And we'll exhale back to center. Inhale tall, reaching the top of the head towards the ceiling. And then exhale over to the other side. Same as before, 3 breaths here. Using your inhale to create length through the spine and the exhale to twist you a little bit deeper. Perhaps noticing if this side feels different to the other side. One more inhale. And then exhale back to center. Good. So we'll roll over the feet and come to just stand at the top of your mat, about 3/4 of the way up. You can have your feet hip width distance or toes and ankles touching, whatever feels good for you. Make sure though that you're grounding down evenly through your feet and you're standing in a way that is mindful. I like to think that, whenever we're practicing yoga, we're not just standing. This here is a posture. And so we're mindful of how we're placing each of our limbs. So a little bit of engagement through the legs, through the glutes, through the abdominal muscles. Shoulders down and back, reaching the top of the head tall. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up, lift up tall. Allow your shoulders to come all the way up to your ears, feeling a stretch through the side bodies. And then exhale, bend your knees and lower all the way down. Don't let your hands touch the floor though, and just reach them back behind you. You can keep your knees bent as much as you need to, but see how far you can go in this forward fold. Knees bent, okay? Because I know we just got started, but use your core strength to reach your hands as far back behind you as you can. Allow your weight to rock towards your toes. And then inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So where our chest is about parallel to the floor. Hands pressing firmly into each other. Begin to shift your weight over into your right foot. And bring your left knee to touch the right knee, but bring your left heel up towards your butt. Bend even more into the right knee and extend the left leg back behind you. See if you can just lower that left foot down so softly you don't even make a noise. And then lower the left knee down. Reach the chest up, coming into Anjaneyasana. Inhale. And then as you exhale, can you pull your left heel up towards your butt? And we're just going to keep our hands where they are. Breathing here, 3 nice long deep breaths. Keep the left glute really active, really switched on. And make sure that you keep your left foot flexed. If you point it, then you might get that awful crampy feeling in your hamstring. So by keeping it flexed, we avoid that. Use the strength of your left glute, though, also to help pull the left heel up as close to your body as you can. One more inhale. As you exhale, you can lower the hands down either side of the right foot. Lower the left toes, lift the left knee up, and bring your right foot back to plank. Squeeze your glutes, lift your abdominals up. Press down firmly into your hands, and then keep this shape as you just bend the knees, coming into a modified plank with the knees bent. Keep the glutes engaged. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to start to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Look up in front of you and push your hips towards your wrists, and then pull your heels up towards your butt. So this should not feel uncomfortable, even though we haven't done any back bends yet. What we're aiming to do is just use the glutes and the hamstrings to pull the heels up towards the butt and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us. So not really even thinking about a back bend so much. One more inhale here. As you exhale, bring the toes back down, push the hips back, and lift up into a downward facing dog. Feel free to keep your knees bent and do whatever movements feel good in this downward facing dog. All right, we're going to shift the weight into the left foot so we can bring the right foot up and bring your right knee as close to your chest as you can, your right heel as close to your butt as you can. Imagine that your right thigh and your chest are glued together, and keep them glued together as much as possible as you come up onto the tiptoes of the left foot and begin rocking your shoulders forward over your wrists. Look down towards your hands. Keep the right thigh glued to your torso. Flex the right foot. Keep going more and more forward until you can step your right foot between your hands, or as close as possible. Begin to pull the feet together. So you switch on all the muscles of the legs and reach your arms up overhead, coming into Crescent Lunge. Bend the back knee so that we're not dumping into the low back, but rather the hips are nice and neutral. You can begin to extend the back leg a little bit, making sure that you're getting a nice stretch through the hip flexors of the left leg. Okay, inhale here, nice and tall. Exhale, again, bring your palms down to heart center, pressing firmly into each other. Inhale here, one more time, and then as you exhale, begin to twist. Keep twisting as much as you can, and you can lean forward. So it's like we're going into our traditional twisted lunge, but try not to have any contact with your elbow on your right leg. So all of this twisting comes from your strength alone. We're not using the arm and leg pressing into each other to accommodate this twist. Feels quite different. Come back to center. Reach the arms up once more. And then exhale, open up, warrior two. Keep bending into the right knee. Can you just pick your toes up so that you can turn your toes to face in the same direction as your left toes, and keep bending into that right knee so we lower all the way down into a skandasana. Cool. Take an inhale here. Stay as low as you can. No using your arms, and shift your weight over to the left for skandasana on the other side. Take your time here. If you want, you can go with me and do a few more, just allowing the legs to open up into this shape. If you really need to, if this feels just too much, you can place your hands down. But it can be really nice to see how you get on without using your hands. All right, so from the back of the mat, we're going to come up halfway and find ourselves in a goddess pose. Feel free to shimmy your way into it if you feel you need to adjust. So toes pointing out wide in the same direction as the knees, and really reach your tailbone down towards the mat. This makes it harder. That means we're getting more benefits from it. All right, we'll straighten up and turn both feet to face forward. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, reach the chest forward and down, all the way into your wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. And just like we did before with that standing forward bend, we're going to reach the arms back behind us and just see how far you can reach your chest through your legs without pulling with your hands, just using these deep core muscles. Make sure that your weight's not rocking back on your heels, but it's evenly spread through your feet. One more breath here, and then exhale. Come up all the way to stand. Nice and slow. Just bring your hands back into that prayer. So our next posture is going to be tree pose on the right foot. How does that look? With no hands. We'll take a little hop off the left foot, bringing our weight into the right. Left knee comes up and out, a little bit of a balance challenge, and see if you can find your way into a tree pose without using your hands. You probably are not getting your foot as high up your thigh as you normally do. If you want to, you can then reach down and grab it. We're going to go back the way we came, no hands, to peel the left foot off of the right thigh. So begin first by pointing the left toe. So the heel comes off first, and try not to lose your balance like me. And then slowly lift the toe off. Extend your left leg out to the side, and we'll come all the way back into that wide leg stance. Turn both feet to face the front of the mat. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bend into the right knee. Lift the left leg up off the mat. Warrior 3. Extend your arms straight up overhead. And then as you exhale, lower the left leg down as you reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Look up. Lift up tall. Stretch through the side body. Inhale, exhale, fold all the way down. Same as before. Reach the hands back behind you. Make sure your weight is towards the toes. See how far back behind you can reach. Just using your own strength. And then inhale, come up halfway. Bring your hands to heart center as you exhale. Shift your weight over into the left leg now. Bring the right heel up towards the right butt. Keep the knees glued together. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bend into the left knee. Extend the right leg back behind you as slowly and as controlled as possible. Lower the right toes to the back of the mat. Lower the right knee down and lift the chest up, finding your Anjaneyasana. Inhale here. And then on your exhale, keeping the right foot flexed, begin to pull using your glutes and your hamstrings. Pull that right heel up towards your butt. So you should be feeling like your legs are working, but also getting a nice opening through the front of the right thigh. Keep squeezing your right glute. That's going to help you a lot here, both opening up through the front of the right thigh and also pulling that right heel up closer towards your butt. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, lower the toes down, lower your hands down either side of the left foot. Lift the right knee up and bring yourself back into your plank. Squeeze the glutes, lift the core up, nice and strong. Make yourself like an actual plank that is not floppy and bendy, but really solid and stable. And then keep that shape as you just bend the knees and come into this modified plank. Pull the heels up towards your butt. Remember, keep the feet flexed to prevent that hamstring cramp. Once you get as far up towards your butt as you can, then you can point your toes. Squeeze your glutes and begin to look up as you squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Push your hips forward. So we're thinking about opening up through the front body and really squeezing the glutes and the hamstrings here rather than going into any kind of back bend. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, lower the toes down, push the hips back, and then lift up, downward facing dog. Hopefully you're enjoying this, maybe feeling some muscles working like they've never worked before. We're going to shift the weight into the right foot so that we can lift the left heel up towards the butt and begin to pull the left thigh towards your torso. See if you can make contact. It's really difficult, I know, but even if you're not touching, as long as that's the intention and you're trying your hardest, then you're doing the work. Lift up onto the toes of the right foot. Keep that contact of the left thigh with your torso as you shift your shoulders forward over your wrists. Begin to look down towards the top of your mat. Flex the left foot. Keep lifting up tall as you place the left foot between the hands or as close as you can get them. Pull the feet together to engage all the muscles of the legs and bring yourself all the way up into your crescent lunge. Bend the right knee behind you. Find a nice long spine, tailbone reaching down. So ideally, the hips in the same alignment that they would be in if you're just standing up. Okay, and try and keep the hips in the same alignment as you straighten the back knee. So not straightening the back leg by arching in the back, but rather really opening up through the front of the right thigh. Reach your arms up overhead, inhale, and then exhale, bring the hands back to heart center. Inhale, nice and tall, and then exhale. 3 breaths here. You can lean forward as if you're going into that twisted lunge that we so often do in our yoga classes. But remember, don't make any contact with the elbow on the knee. And use just your strength to twist you around. Whoa, good. Next inhale. Come all the way back up. Crescent lunge. Nice and tall. As you exhale, open up, warrior 2. Turn your left foot now in the same direction as your right. Keep bending into that knee, coming into Skandasana. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. Stay as low as you can. Switch over into Skandasana on the other side. And then back and forth as many times as you like. Remember, this is a tough flow. We're using lots of strength to move back and forth in these postures. And so if you do want to do this and you're feeling tired, you can always place the hands down, just the fingertips perhaps. All right, next time we're going to come up into our goddess pose. If you want to add a little bit of a challenge, you can come up onto the tiptoes. Inhale. And exhale, straighten the knees. Turn both feet to face forwards. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, we're going to fold all the way down, reaching the chest forward and down. Weight evenly distributed through the feet. And reach your hands back like somebody's trying to give you something really precious. And it's just out of reach, and you just need to reach a little bit further to get it. Then for some reason you're reaching for it this way, and not in the practical way. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, release, and slowly come all the way back up. Bring your hands back to your heart. I'm going to turn around so that I'm not facing the wall, but I'm facing you. But we're going to now take a little hop off of the right knee and come into tree pose on the left leg. So hopping over, bring the right knee up and out. Really pull that heel in as high up as you can and see where you can place your right foot on your left leg. You can then reach and grab it, pull it up a little bit higher if you need to. Strong core here. Using your drishti, your focus point, to help you balance. Great, and now coming back the way we came, start to peel your right foot off of your left thigh, first by pointing your toes so that the heel comes off, and then slowly extending the right leg out to the side and lower it down. Good. Shift your feet to face the front of the mat once more. Bend into the left knee. Extend your right leg up behind you. Warrior 3. Reach your arms straight up overhead and then lower your right foot down at the same time. Lift your fingertips towards the ceiling and look up. Lift up tall and exhale. Hands to heart center. One more little play time. So we're going to go the way that we went before. Inhale, reach up tall. And then as you exhale, keep your hands free of the floor of your legs. Go into your forward fold, reaching your hands back behind you as much as possible. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, this time you can plant the hands down on the mat, bend the knees as much as you need to. And then take a little hop or you can step back into your plank. Find a nice, solid, straight plank. Really engaging all of the core muscles, all the glutes. And then lower your knees down, keeping that nice, solid position through the torso. So none of this stuff. Pushing the hips forward. So we're going to do like we did before. Pull the heels towards the butt, really squeezing the butt, allowing the front of the body to open up. You can bend the elbows if you need to help accommodate, really squeezing your shoulder blades together behind you. You can point the toes if you want to, once your feet are as close to your butt as you can. And then we're going to keep bending the elbows to lower ourselves down onto the mat. Keep your chest lifted, keep your feet lifted, and reach your hands back behind you. Now, at this point, if you like, you can grab your ankles and use the strength of your legs to push your hands back behind you, lifting your knees up off the mat. Coming into our bow pose that we often do in our yoga classes, but now I'm going to ask you to slowly, one finger at a time, starting with your little finger and then your ring finger, peel your hands off of your ankles and hold the shape as much as possible without grabbing your ankles or your feet. If this feels really challenging, then you're doing it right. One more inhale. Whew. Exhale, lower everything down. We'll push back into a child's pose. And from here, you can just rest, chill out, or carry on with your yoga practice. Maybe you've got your own ideas of postures that you'd like to try with no hands. And once again, I thank you for joining me. Namaste.